All right, so we have our water cycle test coming up. So we're going to go through all of our vocabulary words and the different energies of the water cycle. So we start here, we're in the ocean, and we have our solar energy. That is what is powering the water cycle, is the solar energy, the sun. So that gives its energy, it heats that up. So evaporation starts as a liquid. It is going to turn into a gas. It is going to heat up, turn into a gas. Evaporation goes up. Right? Evaporation, so then we're up in the air, the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is a storage place, a reservoir. So as that gas gets cold, it comes back together. I got a little cord in front of my camera there. Okay, so that comes back together, turns into a liquid. That's right, it's moving back together. So it's transferring back together, condensation back together as a liquid. That can form clouds when it's up in the atmosphere. So clouds, it's holding that liquid, it's storing it up. When it becomes dense enough, gravity can pull it back down as precipitation, right? So it can precipitate back anywhere on Earth. It can precipitate back into that ocean, onto the surface, onto the mountains, into a lake, anywhere back onto Earth. Precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, hail, depending on that temperature. Okay, so we're back down onto the surface of the Earth. So we've got other storage places like lakes. We could be in the ground as a storage place, in the vegetation as being stored. So those are, we could be snow on a mountain being stored. So a few storage places. So we also have water that can move. So, right, we have snow runoff. Once the snow melts, it will run down the mountain. We can have rivers. Those are, the whole purpose of a river is to move the water from one place to another. We have transpiration. That is evaporation from a plant. So that plant, right, it gets the heat from the sun. So the water goes out of the leaves and evaporates off the plants. Evaporation from a plant is transpiration. We've also got these few other new words here. So when that water is on the surface, it can infiltrate, right? It goes in to the surface and then it can percolate. It can filter through and percolate down. So those are movements. And then it can stop and be stored in the ground. So let's talk about, I think I am missing a word up here. Okay, so those transfers are anytime the water is moving. Those have kinetic energy. So let me grab my highlighter here. So right, they're moving, they're going. Those are green. Anytime we hear a transfer, we want to think kinetic energy. Evaporation moved it from the ocean or the surface of the earth up into the atmosphere. Condensation moved it from the atmosphere back together into a cloud. Precipitation moves it from the cloud back to the earth. Runoff moves it from up high to down low. It's running along the surface of the earth. Rivers move it from one place to another. Infiltration moves it from the top of the ground into the ground. Percolation moves it farther down into the ground. Transpiration, right? Evaporation from a plant, that's moving it up. So any of those that are moving them have that kinetic energy. They are using their energy. So we also have reservoirs. Those are the ones with potential energy. They're storing up that energy. They're collecting it, right? They're gathering it. So that doesn't mean the molecules aren't moving, right? In the ocean, right? We know those molecules are moving. In the air, we know those molecules are moving. But, right, even where are they moving to? Ocean. Where's the air moving to? Air still until it has a transfer. So the ocean is a reservoir. The air is a reservoir. This cloud is a reservoir. This snowpack is a reservoir. The vegetation is a reservoir. The lake is a reservoir. The groundwater is a reservoir. These are holding that water in that place. They're just storing up the energy to be used. Now, where does this energy come from? Well, it comes from the solar energy. So the sun, right, gives the energy to all of the liquid that it's seeing. It's giving the energy, and that's heating it up, which, right, it's giving the energy. So it starts to store it up, and once it has enough, then it can cycle through, right? Then it gets tired, it's got to stop. It went through evaporation, it got tired, it has to stop and store up more energy, storing in the atmosphere. Then it has enough to go through condensation. It's got to store it up. Now it has enough to precipitate. So it's constantly, it gets that solar energy, and then it constantly just goes through potential and kinetic energy. And then we also have gravity, and gravity and density play a role in the water cycle, right? We think gravity, space, but gravity, right, when things are dense enough, they get pulled down to the earth. So this precipitation is dense, it's getting pulled down. So all of these reservoirs are being impacted by gravity. So all of our reservoirs are being made by gravity. This lake, caused by gravity. The ocean, caused by gravity. All of this, right, it's being caused by gravity. It's being kept down on the earth. Then once it's less dense, things that are less dense, like gases, once they go through evaporation, can go up and defy gravity. So things that are less dense go up, but things that are more dense, like liquids, are going to pack together and come down and settle down lower on the earth. So gravity and solar energy are the things that really make our water cycle go. The solar energy, right, heats it up and makes things go up, and then gravity pulls them back down. So as things are moving, they're using these types of energy. But the solar energy is what makes it move up. The gravity is what pulls it back down. So if you watch this video and you would like a little bonus in your bank account, so we've got this lake here. So you can email me or just come so quietly tell me, because you don't want other people to be getting your money, because I know a lot of you are working for the same prize. So you don't want them to get your points. So you need to tell me, this lake here, what type of energy does the lake have? And what are 2 ways that water in the lake could transfer out? So 2 different ways the water could transfer out of the lake, and what type of energy does the lake have? So email me, message me, or just come and quietly tell me that. And good luck on your test. You guys are going to do awesome.